A king almost died because of another man's lie. A beautiful woman was taken into a royal palace. A fearful husband tried to save his own life with deception. But that same night, God entered the king's dream, and everything changed. Abraham traveled through the desert with his wife Sarah, searching for safety and peace. And when they approached the city of Gerar, Abraham became afraid because Sarah was still very beautiful, and he feared powerful men might kill him to take her away. So he looked at Sarah and said, "Please tell everyone you are my sister, because if they know you are my wife, they may kill me." And Sarah agreed quietly, even though those words likely hurt her deeply, because they were strangers in a foreign land. The city of Gerar was busy and wealthy, with merchants, soldiers, and crowds filling the streets. And when Abraham and Sarah entered the city, many people noticed Sarah because she carried unusual beauty and dignity. Soon, word reached King Abimelech that a beautiful woman had arrived, and when the king's servants asked about her, Abraham repeated the lie and said, "She is my sister." Because of those words, Sarah was taken into the royal palace while Abraham watched helplessly from a distance. Sarah walked through the palace gates surrounded by guards and servants, while Abraham remained outside filled with guilt because his fear had placed the woman he loved in danger. Inside the palace, Sarah saw expensive decorations, shining oil lamps, and royal servants, but none of it gave her peace because she knew she did not belong there. And during the night, something terrifying happened to the king. King Abimelech suddenly had a frightening dream, and in that dream, God appeared before him with power and said, "You are a dead man because the woman you have taken is married." When the king heard those words, fear filled his heart because he knew this warning was real. The king woke up trembling, with sweat covering his face, and cried out to God saying, "Lord, I did not know she was married. Abraham himself told me she was his sister." And God answered saying, "I know you acted innocently, and that is why I stopped you from touching her. But now return the woman to her husband because he is a prophet, and if you refuse, disaster will come upon your house." Before sunrise, the king gathered his servants and told them everything that had happened, and fear spread through the palace because they realized the God of Abraham was powerful. Then King Abimelech called Abraham into the palace and looked at him with anger and disappointment, saying, "Why have you done this to me? You nearly brought death upon my household because of your lie." And Abraham stood silent, filled with shame because he knew the king was right. Abraham finally admitted he was afraid and believed the people of the city might kill him because of Sarah's beauty. And those words must have hurt Sarah deeply because the man who was supposed to protect her allowed fear to control his decisions. But even in Abraham's failure, God still protected Sarah and warned the king before tragedy entered the palace, showing that God's mercy is greater than human weakness. King Abimelech quickly returned Sarah to Abraham and gave him sheep, cattle, servants, silver, and gifts to show that no harm had been done. And as Abraham and Sarah stood together again outside the palace, there was relief in their eyes, but also pain because they understood how close they had come to disaster. Abraham likely felt ashamed, realizing fear had caused him to lie, while Sarah quietly carried the pain of being handed over because of that lie. And King Abimelech probably wondered how a man chosen by God could make such a dangerous decision. Yet through all the fear, confusion, and mistakes, one truth remained clear. God was watching over them the entire time. This story is not only about a lie. It is about fear, trust, weakness, mercy, and the danger of making decisions without trusting God, because one lie almost destroyed a king and brought judgment upon an entire palace. But in the end, God protected Sarah, warned the king, revealed the truth, and showed mercy even to Abraham. And that is why the dangerous lie of Abraham almost killed the king. Thank you for staying with me till the end of this story. If this touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Here on World Bible Stories, we bring you powerful stories like this every time. See you in the next story.